I don't know what storm you're facing right now. Maybe you're smiling on the outside, but silently screaming on the inside. Maybe you're tired, not just physically, but soul tired. If you've been showing up, trying, pushing, fighting, and still nothing seems to be changing. I see you, and I need you to hear me right now. You can't give up. Not now. Not today. Not when you've come this far. Because what if? What if your breakthrough is one more step away? What if everything you've prayed for, cried for, fought for is on the other side of this exact moment where you feel like quitting? This isn't just another motivational speech. This is a wake-up call to your soul. So before you make any more silent decisions about giving up, give me these next few minutes. Let me remind you who you are. Let me show you why your fight still matters. Because when we're done here, you won't just walk out inspired. You'll walk out unstoppable. You know, one of the biggest lies we're told is that pain means stop. That discomfort means we're doing something wrong. But let me tell you something from real experience. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is a messenger. It's life's way of getting your attention. It's not here to punish you. It's here to prepare you. When you're in the middle of the storm, when everything feels like it's falling apart, your brain screams, run! But your soul, it whispers, stay, grow. This is your moment. And the difference between the ones who rise and the ones who retreat is who listens. You've got to decide right here, right now, that the pain you're facing isn't a dead end. It's a doorway, a portal to who you're becoming. And yes, it hurts. Growth always does. But pain is temporary. Growth, that's forever. That's legacy. That's transformation. I get it. We all want the results, the breakthrough, the win. But most people want it without the resistance. They want the change without the challenge. But that's not how this works. The resistance is the path. It's the furnace that forges the version of you capable of holding the life you're asking for. Think about a seed. Before it becomes a tree, it's buried, covered in dirt, isolated, pressured, in total darkness. But it doesn't stop growing just because it can't see the light. It pushes, it fights, it stretches. And eventually it breaks through the surface, but that breakthrough only comes after the pressure. And maybe right now, you're in your dirt season. Maybe you feel buried, forgotten, exhausted. But what if you're not buried? What if you're being planted? What if this pain isn't a punishment, but a preparation for the breakthrough that's coming? You can't give up now. You didn't come this far just to come this far. You didn't fight through everything you've already survived just to throw in the towel when you're this close. And I promise you, you are closer than you think. Your mind will try to protect you by convincing you to back off, to shrink, to quit. But protection is not progress. You were not born to play small. You were built to expand, to rise, to lead, to love, to serve. That kind of life, it doesn't come easy, but it comes to those who refuse to back down. So when the pain shows up, and it will, don't let it stop you. Let it shape you. Let it remind you that something greater is being built within you. Because every time you lean in instead of checking out, every time you choose faith over fear, grit over giving up, you become stronger, wiser, more unstoppable. And at the end of it all, when you look back, you won't remember the pain, you'll remember the power you found inside of it. Because pain is temporary, but growth is forever. There's something you need to hear. And I don't care how many times life has tried to make you forget it, you were built for this. I don't care what your past looks like. I don't care how many times you've fallen. I don't care what anyone else said about you. You've got power inside of you that hasn't even been tapped into yet. And you don't need to become someone else to access it. You just need to remember who the hell you are. We've been conditioned to believe that struggle means we're weak, that if it's hard, it must not be for us. No, if it's hard, it means it's shaping you into someone greater. It means you're getting stronger. Diamonds are not made in comfort. Warriors are not trained in peace. You think champions were born out of ease? No, they were born in fire. And you've been through fire, haven't you? Maybe life didn't give you the smoothest road. Maybe you had to learn how to stand on your own before anyone ever taught you how to walk. But here's the truth. Those bruises, those scars, that's proof. Proof that you're still standing. Proof that no matter how many times you've been knocked down, you kept getting up. And if you've got breath in your lungs, you've still got fight in you. You see, the moment you start believing that you're not enough is the moment you hand over your power. And I'm telling you right now, take it back. Right now. You were never meant to live small, to hide, to settle. You weren't designed to be average. That fire inside you, that deep knowing that there's more to life than this cycle of surviving, that's not your imagination. That's your truth trying to get your attention. But here's what happens. We hit resistance, we feel fear, and we start shrinking, we start doubting, we start thinking maybe we're not cut out for this. But fear isn't a stop sign, it's a signal. It's a signal that what you're about to step into is bigger than what you've known. And yes, that's scary, but it's also where the power is. Everything you need to rise to the next level is already in you. The problem isn't that you don't have it. The problem is you've forgotten how to own it. And that ends now. Because the truth is, every limitation you've accepted, it's a lie. The ceiling you keep bumping into, that's not real. You created it. And if you created it, you can break through it. So stop looking outside for permission. Stop waiting for someone else to tell you you're ready. You don't need a sign. You are the sign. You were built for this. You were born for this. You've got what it takes. Now it's time to act like it. You ever have a moment where you stop and think, is this it? Is this really how my story ends? We've all been there. In that space where you feel stuck, where the days blow together and a part of you starts to wonder if you've missed your chance. But I want to shake you out of that thought right now. Because no matter how messy, how painful, or how far off track your life feels, your story isn't over. See, we love stories with a powerful ending, don't we? The underdog wins. The broken soul rises. The person everyone counted out becomes the one no one can ignore. We love those stories. But the mistake most people make is forgetting they're in the middle of their own. And the middle, that's where the fight is. That's where the doubt creeps in, where the struggle gets real, where everything in you screams to just walk away. But I'm telling you right now, don't you dare. You can't give up in the middle. The middle is where heroes are made. This is where the world either breaks you or builds you. And that decision, that power, it's in your hands, not anyone else's. What if the best part of your life hasn't even happened yet? What if the very thing you've been praying for, working for, waiting for is just beyond this hard season you're in right now? I've seen too many people quit right before things started to shift. They walked away one step before the door opened, one day before they met the right person, one choice away from the life they wanted. And I'll tell you, that's one of the most painful regrets a person can carry. So you've got to make a decision today. You've got to decide that the page you're on doesn't define the book. You're not done, not even close. Because as long as you're still breathing, the pen is still in your hand. And you don't write your next chapter by waiting. You write it by moving, by deciding, by refusing to let your past dictate your future. I know the weight you're carrying. I know the voices in your head that say you're not good enough. It's too late. Who do you think you are? But let me be louder than those lies for a moment. You are more than your failures, you are more than your fears, and you are not finished. You've got more inside of you than the world has even seen yet. You've got strength that hasn't been tested, courage that hasn't been awakened, and victories that haven't been claimed, but they're waiting on the other side of you deciding not to quit. So turn the page. Because your story isn't finished yet. Don't you ever think about the fact that your life, your struggle, your fight isn't just about you? That everything you've been through, everything you're still pushing through, might actually be the light someone else is waiting for. See, we live in a world that tells us to keep it all together, to hide the mess, to show only the highlight reel. But the truth is, it's your realness, your battle, that carries the most power. Because somebody out there is watching you, even if you don't realize it. And they're not inspired by your perfection. They're inspired by your persistence. You might feel invisible right now, like no one sees how hard you're trying, how much you're carrying, how many nights you've spent just holding yourself together. But someone sees it. Maybe your kids, maybe your friends, maybe a complete stranger who's seen how you move through the world. And what you think is just surviving, they see as strength. You can't give up not just because of what's inside of you, but because of what your life represents to someone else. Every time you choose to rise instead of run, every time you speak truth when silence would be easier, every time you show up when quitting would make more sense, you're giving someone else permission to do the same. That's legacy. Not the money, not the titles, not the trophies. It's how your life breathes courage into another soul. It's how your example becomes someone else's reason to keep going. And that's not just poetic, it's real. You have no idea how powerful your story is because you're still living it. But the things you've survived, the things that tried to break you but didn't, those aren't just chapters in your book. Those are blueprints for someone else's breakthrough. Maybe you're the first in your family to try and break the cycle. Maybe you're the one carrying the weight of a dream no one else understands. And it feels heavy because you're leading the way. But that's what leaders do. They walk first so others can follow. They carry the torch through the dark so others can find the path. And maybe you're sitting there thinking, but I'm not strong enough for all that. Yes, you are. How do I know? Because you're still here. And because the fact that you're still breathing means there's still a mission on your life. There's still someone who needs to hear your story. Not the polished version, the real one. The one with the pain, the doubt, the resilience, and the rise. You can't give up because your life is more than your own. You're not just surviving for yourself, you're surviving for the ones watching you quietly, hoping you make it. So they believe they can too. Someone out there needs your fight. You know what keeps more people stuck than anything else? This lie that it has to be perfect. That you can't move forward until it all looks right, feels right, lines up perfectly. Let me tell you something that'll set you free. Progress beats perfection every time. Waiting on perfection is just fear dressed up in fancy clothes. It's procrastination pretending to be preparation. But the truth is, most people don't need more time. They need more courage to take the next step imperfectly. Nobody starts off crushing it. Nobody starts off confident. You build that by doing, by trying, by showing up when it's messy and uncomfortable and awkward. The only way to get clarity is through movement. You don't figure it all out first and then act. You act, and through that action, the path starts to reveal itself. Every step you take, even if it's clumsy, even if it's small, creates momentum. And momentum is what changes lives, not intention, not theory, not waiting for the perfect moment that never comes. I've seen people spend their entire lives thinking they're not ready. You know what happens? Life passes them by. Dreams die that way. Potential goes unrealized. And for what? Because they were waiting to feel ready? Listen, readiness is a decision, not a feeling. You decide to be ready. You decide to move, even with the fear, even with the doubt. And in that decision, you reclaim your power. I don't care if you stumble. I don't care if you fall. What matters is you keep moving forward. You learn, you adjust, you grow. That's the game. The people you admire, the ones who look like they've got it all together, they're just the ones who failed forward more times than you can count. They didn't let the fear of getting it wrong stop them from doing it anyway. You've got to stop judging yourself by a standard of perfection that doesn't even exist. Done is better than perfect. Trying and failing is better than standing still. If you wait until you know everything, until all the lights are green, until you're guaranteed to win, you'll never start. And the tragedy of that is you'll never discover what you are truly capable of. The goal is growth. That's what changes your life. That's what builds confidence, builds strength, builds resilience. And growth only happens when you move, when you risk, when you show up, even when you don't feel ready, especially when you don't feel ready. So forget perfect, burn that word, replace it with progress. Because every imperfect step forward puts you one step closer to the life you deserve and the person you were born to become. Keep moving. There's a moment, maybe you've felt it, that crosses every person's path when the world feels like it's pushing you to the edge, when the weight of everything you're carrying threatens to break you down. And in that moment, you face a choice. Will you let the pressure crush you, or will you use it to fuel your comeback? The truth is, your breakthrough begins the moment you refuse to break down. That decision right there is the single most powerful act you can make. Life doesn't always make it easy. It's not designed to hand you success on a silver platter. If it did, everyone would have what they want and no one would know what it means to fight for it. But here's the good news. The very thing that's trying to break you, the obstacles, the pain, the doubt, can actually be your greatest ally. When you choose to stand tall in spite of it, you show life that you're not someone to be taken lightly. You've got to make a promise to yourself. No matter how tough it gets, you will not back down. Because when you do that, life starts meeting you halfway. It's like a force awakens inside you, a reservoir of strength you didn't know you had. That strength doesn't come from your comfort zone. It comes from digging deep, from saying, I'm done quitting, I'm done settling, I'm done waiting for the perfect moment. The moment you say that, your breakthrough begins. And don't get me wrong, this isn't about denying the pain or pretending the struggle isn't real. It's about embracing it differently. It's about looking at your challenges and saying, you will not defeat me. I will rise above you. That's courage. That's power. That's what separates those who succeed from those who fall by the wayside. Here's something most people don't understand. Strength grows in the moments when you feel weakest. Character is forged in the fires of adversity. The bigger the storm, the brighter the rainbow on the other side. You are not your circumstances. You are the fighter who refuses to be defined by them. And when you decide to keep going, to keep pushing, to keep believing, even when it feels impossible, that's when everything changes. So don't wait for your fear to disappear before you act. Don't wait until the pain subsides or the path clears. The breakthrough is waiting for you to refuse to break down, to stand in the storm and say, I'm still here, I'm still fighting, and I'm not giving up. Because that moment of refusal, that's where your power is born. And from that power, a new life begins. Decide today, you will not break down. You will rise.